Hello, everybody. We are here today to talk about Little People, Big World, episode 2, which is called Bromance. And welcome to Plathville, which is also episode 2, but it's called I Took Things a Little Too Far. So we're going to start off with Little People, Big World, which opened up with Cayrn and Matt talking about their relationship as they went for a walk and how the farm is not bad, but it can sometimes cause the relationship to get stagnant, and they don't want it to come to that. Cayrn talks about how she bought this all-terrain wheelchair for Matt. That way they can go on more hikes since his scooter can't really go on paths, but she would be pushing it, and Matt said it kind of reminds him of a stroller. I kind of found a photo that was similar to what they got. It looks like this, but I think the wheel in the front is different. They also discuss what has been happening with Zach and Matt, and then Tori and Cayrn. Cayrn does admit that she did not need to be there at the meeting, because the only reason why, though, she went was because Tori was going. And she decided to go since they usually do things together, all four of them. Now that the farm is now out of the equation, Matt said he is going to let a little time go by and then work on repairing the relationship, that they can't hate the fact that he is their father and he is also the kids' grandfather forever. Though it is going to be different from seeing them every day on the farm, it's not like they're not going to see them at all, though they are moving far away now. We do get to see Zach and Tori, and Zach talks about how he's been in the gym so he could be able to lift more things and get into better shape. He has been working out with Dave and wanted to learn more about this powerlifting competition for weightlifting and how he wants to set a national record. Currently, the record is 381 in his weight class. They also talk about how the deal did not go through with the Northside of the farm and how they will be moving in a month to their new home in Washington. Tori knows there wasn't a perfect way that it should have gone, but the fact that they were just having, like, this family where they saw them like 3 to 4 times on the farm each week, and how this deal, there wasn't a perfect way to do it, and that she knew that it wasn't going to go well. And just the fact that he wished them good luck showed that they made the right choice. Zach talked about how he knew how his dad was, but wasn't expecting that it would go that way. But eventually they can go back to having a relationship, though it will never be the same. And now his dad can concentrate on just being a grandfather, but it's going to take a lot of time for them to get back to the way it was. We then see that Amy and Chris invited Matt and Caryn over for dinner. Amy discusses there are moments that it still feels awkward at times, but They're both in different places in life, and it feels nice that they can be able to do this. Matt bought Chris flowers, which the flowers were from Amy and Chris's wedding day, but it was just kind of weird, though Matt said it was like a last reminder of their wedding. Cayrn jokes about their bromance that they have, and Matt thinks it's wonderful that they get along together, and he respects Chris for doing what he does for Amy, just like Cayrn does for him. Amy and Chris discuss their honeymoon and whether they'll be able to go to Hawaii due to COVID. Matt is worried about pumpkin season, and Chris offers to be a tour guide for the season. But Matt doubts that Chris will be able to do it and talks about how most that try for it don't end up doing it. And Cayrn jokes how he will probably be the parking attendant. Amy was surprised that he wanted to be a tour guide for pumpkin season, and the guys seem to be getting along great. And Amy is wondering if Chris has a new guy best friend, and she isn't ready for that yet, since that is her ex-husband, which I completely understand. They also discuss Valentine's Day and how they want to go visit them in Arizona. Amy talks about how she wants to let go of the negativity in her life, and it's going well, and she wants it to continue to grow from there. Chris asks what they think about the news with Zach and Tori. Matt thinks it will be different due to the fact that they were on the farm 3 times a week, and it won't be that way. Chris is upset that they will be moving far away, and Amy thinks they need to make this choice and that it's best for their family, though she is sad that she won't see her grandchildren as much. But they will still come to visit whenever they can, but she knows the reality is it won't be the same because they will be so far away. Amy discusses the fact that Matt made it a business deal for the farm and that he needs to sometimes sacrifice that business because it's business with his family. Amy thought that dinner went well. She doesn't get the whole best friends thing between Chris and Matt, and Matt and Chris talk about how Zach and Tori will be moving and how it felt like Zach and Tori maybe felt like they were under Matt's wings, and that they needed this time now to grow and fly. They also discuss the all-terrain vehicle, and Matt thinks it's just a stroller, but that they need to try it out because Cayrn likes hiking and they want to be able to do more things. Matt jokes that, Amy has Chris, that she can just hop on the back of his motorcycle, and here Cayrn is wanting to put him in a stroller. I'm glad that they can joke about that, but it's something that can bond them together and they can go on more hiking and things like that. They all thought that the dinner went well and hope that they can do things like this again, especially for Valentine's Day, which is coming up, that they can do this together. Well, not coming up, but a couple months from now. Then we get to see Zach. Zach is at the gym, and like I said, he wants to break the national record for weightlifting, and it's for squatting And he's also doing 2 other events, one being dead weight. I kind of forget what the other one was, but he's working out with David and preparing for the event. Chris is going to be the only family member besides Tori and the kids that will be able to make the competition. Zach will be lifting in 3 body events, like I said, in his weight class. And this day that he was working out wasn't the best day, and he got sore. David kind of asked what's been going on, and Zach thinks that the stress was making it so he couldn't relax and was tensing up, which wasn't helping his training session. He ends up hurting his leg and worried about how it might be on the competition day if he felt the same way. Then we see that Tori is cooking dinner, which is Zach's favorite meal, steak and potatoes. And while Zach is outside getting his last workout in, he's doing it with Jackson, who was lifting this weight. It was so cute. Jackson loves being able to hang out with his dad while working out, and he just wants to do whatever his dad is doing. Before dinner, Zach weighs himself, and he needs to be at 123, though he weighed 125.4. So he needs to lose 2 pounds before the competition, which his weigh-in is the next day. So unfortunately, though, because even though Tori made his favorite meal, Zach couldn't eat it, though Tori said it lasted for only like 3 seconds. But he did kind of eat more of the potatoes that night. Zach weighed himself again and was extremely worried about the weigh-in, so he immediately got on that treadmill to drop those 2 pounds. We then go to Matt and Caryn. They are now using the all-terrain wheelchair that has now come in. So they were going on a hike. Matt has doubts about it, though he has faith in Caryn. Matt hates to admit it, though he was enjoying the hike and being able to go on these trails and just how beautiful it was. Cayrn wants to prove a point and go off-road. So she decided to go through an area that was a bit challenging, which she admits that she struggled, but she managed to get up the hill. Matt thinks it would be better with the motor, which I get it. Matt was talking about Zach's weightlifting competition, and though he can't be there, he is proud of Zach for going after his goal. It is now, though, competition day for Zach. And Tori made these cute shirts for the kids to wear. Zach was able to drop the 2 pounds, though he worried about lifting 381 pounds. That's double his weight. Zach competed in 3 events, but he was most focused on the squatting, which he actually did better in the dead weight and lifting. Chris was there to support, though Amy couldn't be there, and Chris thought it was amazing that Zach was setting a great example for Jackson, that he can do anything no matter his size. Zach was able to break the national record and state records and unofficial world record in his class. It was so amazing to see him accomplish this. So next week, they will be moving, and we see Chris trying out the tour guiding for pumpkin season. We see that Zach and Tori come the last week for pumpkin season, which they were shut down. and we see them having a discussion with Matt and Caryn. I think this episode was not as interesting as the first, though it was very interesting to see everything that like resulted from what happened last week. It was amazing to see Zach set goals and actually achieve these goals, and it was just amazing to see that. I was happy that, you know, Chris and Amy and Caryn and Matt got along great during the dinner, and that they both can enjoy this time after everything they've been through. I mean, if you've watched Little People Big World throughout all of the seasons, their relationship were not great. Like, Amy and Matt did a lot of fighting, and it's great to see that they're both in much better places. They're both happy, they're both enjoying life, and they can enjoy it together. It is kind of awkward, I will say, that Chris and Matt have this like bromance going on, but in a way it's also good because it unites them. And Chris, in a way, makes it for Amy, like reassures her that they can have this relationship and it can grow. And Amy is finally coming around to see this. So I thought it was a great episode, and I can't wait to see next week, though there's going to be a lot of tension, it seems like, with the whole pumpkin season and Tori and Zach coming like the last week for it. I hope that Chris can do the tour guide, because I did kind of find it kind of rude with Cayrn saying that he will probably end up being the parking attendant. I have more faith in Chris that he can do this. And Chris just stepping up, knowing that Zach and Matt had this huge fight, and Zach usually is the tour guide, just Chris offering was something great. And I have faith in Chris. I do. I do. And it'll be interesting seeing Tori and Zach moving into their new home. So we will see how that goes for next week. Now we are on to Welcome to Plathville. And episode 2 is called I Took Things a Little Too Far, which we do in the episode see that Max and Micah sit down together and how Max has been feeling. So the episode, though, starts off with Ethan and Olivia's brother, Nathan, going around Tampa on scooters. They're going through fountains. They're having a great night together. It seemed like a lot of fun. Then we see Micah and Mariah are out at the beach where she usually goes. It's like her little spot. They start talking about what happened with her and how she's been so upset and depressed, still not wanting to talk about what happened with Max. She is scared to let anyone in because of Max hurting her. She is terrified she will never be able to let anyone in again. Micah asks her what happens, though Mariah's still scared to talk about it. And she believes that Max was her soulmate. And she doesn't think that she'll be able to ever love again, which I know, being in that place through, you know, my younger years, dating other people, it's a place where you don't ever feel like you'll be able to ever love again. But giving it time to heal those wounds, you realize you can, and that there are better people out there for you. Though you might feel like that now, things can change. Micah reassures her she is strong and that he will always be there for her no matter what. When she is ready to talk, he will be there to listen. We then see Kim is driving around, and she discussed how she had a revelation that when her family went away and she was home alone, she was unhappy with herself and realized she needed to set boundaries. A few months ago, she did sit down with Barry and they discussed what she was feeling. And she has been kind of trying to tell him this for quite a long time. And she feels that this time he heard her and he is trying with her. Barry understood that when she was home taking care of the kids, she did have a lot of responsibilities, and that he missed, though, the companionship since she has been out of the house more, and he is helping, but he hopes that this will get better. Now, we see a little clip of Ethan wearing some scuba gear, and I actually do have the video because it was on Olivia's TikTok. I will link that down below if you want to check that out. But here is the video.
Oh, there's plenty of fish in the sea. Yeah, but that's my clownfish. Hands off my clownfish, all right?
So cute. So Ethan and Olivia have been spending a lot more time together. They have been working on their relationship. They're at a better place. Ethan has not found a job since they moved. Olivia does ask him when he will start looking for a job. And Ethan talks about how he's been working since he was 15 years old and that he is taking a break for a little bit and living life. And he's living off of what he saved up. And he's also dabbling into the stock market. And it's working out at the moment, though he doesn't plan on doing this forever. Olivia feels like Ethan needs to go out and explore and figure out who he is now that he has a little bit more time to do that. We do see that Kim is on the lake where she is kayaking. She feels like it's the husband's job to nurture the family and love, but she feels like it has been lacking. And though they have been working on things in their relationship, Barry has been trying, though Kim feels like something still needs to change. We see Micah is on his way to meet up with Max so he can have a better understanding to what really happened between Mariah and him. This is where we get to see Max, and the producers asked Max how he's been doing. And he stated that he is not well at all, and he began to cry. Max is upset that he hurt Mariah, and he's very disappointed that he hurt her. He tells Micah that he isn't doing too good, and Micah's like, let's just immediately jump into this conversation. What happened? Matt admits that he fucked up very bad. I guess it was Max and a good buddy of him were celebrating his friend's retirement, which I thought that was kind of weird because they're like young. But his buddy invited him over, and he also invited this girl that his buddy liked over to celebrate with them. Max and her were flirting, and she tried to kiss him, and he let it happen, though it didn't go any further, which I found very weird because it's like your buddy invited this girl over because he liked her and it's just the three of you. Like, how did that happen? Unless like his buddy went out of the room and it happened when he was not around. I just found it very weird. So Max told Mariah what happened, and that's when she broke up with him, which he doesn't blame her. Max understands if Micah is upset with him, and he just asked if he could be there for Mariah. Micah is very disappointed in him, after this incident with Max, him, and Mariah, Max and Mariah got into an argument about the way she dresses and the clothes that she wears. And that actually led into a bigger argument between the two of them. And Mariah just wanted him to have her back. And he knows he needs to regain her trust. And that's going to be really hard to do because she's like not speaking to him really at this time. He does ask Micah if he can talk to her about this, which Micah agrees that he will do this for him. And he wants to make sure, though, that Max is telling him the whole truth, which Max does give him permission to talk to his friend that was there. And if he wants more clarification, he's willing to involve him so that way Micah can get the whole truth of what happened, that he's not lying to him about everything that went down. So we do see that Micah calls Mariah regarding the conversation with Max. They discuss how Max is generally like he's genuine. He's sorry about what happens with the whole Mariah situation. Mariah says she would rather be single for the rest of her life than to be with someone that can do this to her, which I completely understand. Mariah talks about the whole clothing conversation and how she wasn't going to change that about herself. And in a relationship, things need to come to a compromise when it comes to things like that. We then get to see Micah and Mariah surprise the family by going to visit them. They are overjoyed with this excitement to be able to see them. They ask Micah how he's doing in California. They discuss that he's still modeling, taking acting classes. Kim lets them know how she opened up a studio and how she'll be teaching line dancing classes starting next week. That's when Lydia comes home from work. She was excited that she got to see them. Lydia talks about how she is working at a local community bank and is in training. That's when Lydia asked about Max and if he was still moving down. And she told them that they were still working on things. That's when they asked her if Mariah and him were still together. And she was nervous to talk about it. So Barry just said, like, they can move on from this conversation and understood that it was hard for her to talk about it. Mariah starts to cry, and Kim goes over to hug her and told her she was beautiful and she's a sparkling jewel, and she understood her heartache and she realizes she needs to be there for her. Mariah feels like if this happened a few years ago, it would be different, and they would have told her, "We told you so." Which, I mean, I can see that from like season 1, though it's a lot different. And they are more like open to things with like Mariah and Micah moving out. They've actually become like different people. And it means a lot to them that they can even see their kids. Kim and Barry are a bit shocked because, Max gave Mariah a ring and how he kind of became part of the family. And they really thought that this relationship was going to last. And they realized that Mariah is extremely hurt as well as them also being hurt with the whole situation. Barry talks about how seeing what Mariah is going through is heartbreaking and how what is happening with Kim is upsetting, and he hopes that it doesn't end up that way, and he hopes that it can get better. Then we see Mariah and Lydia sitting on the couch, and during this time it was very difficult. Lydia reassures her she can always talk to her at any time and that she will always be there for her. Lydia asks her if this is a decision that they both made, or was it one of them that made that this whole decision to break up. And Mariah says that she was the one who had to make the choice for both of them so that they can grow. Now, this is where it gets a little weird. So Lydia tells her she has been like texting Max, which that's not the weird part. And it was just like the other day, and like how she misses Max because they all like would hang out and he would always be there with her and the family and things like that. And this is where it comes a little weird. Lydia asks Mariah if she wanted to hang out with Max and some friends, would it be okay with Mariah? And Mariah felt that her response was very different and she didn't expect that from her and thought that she should be there to support her more than her wanting to be around Max during this time. Though I get it because she really didn't tell Lydia what happened. She didn't say, like, Max kissed another girl and has extremely hurt me. She just knows that Mariah's hurt at this point. And I think maybe if Lydia knew exactly what went down with Max and Mariah, that she would be more receptive to it. Though I get it, like, I've been there when my brother has broken up with, someone he's dated for a long time. And I felt the same way with, like, having that relationship with that girlfriend at the time and how I just wanted to be able to still hang out with them. And though it never was like a whole cheating thing between them, I was able to still hang out with her a couple times. I still communicate here and there with her because she's a wonderful girl. Though I am happy where my brother is in life, that's where I feel like maybe if Lydia understood what Mariah and Max went through and how Max cheated on her, that there would be more of an understanding. And Mariah is still unsure, though, how she feels about Lydia asking her if that she can hang out with her ex and is unsure how to feel, which I get. I get it. So that was the end of this week's episode of Welcome to Plathville. Next week episode, we see that Mariah goes to LA with Micah, and she feels that this is what she needed right now in her life. Olivia and Ethan have a decision to make about being in Tampa and wanting to go back to Cairo. It was more Ethan wanting to go back than Olivia, and Olivia was shocked by the whole conversation. So that's going to be interesting. I'm excited, though, to see Mariah just have fun in LA, get to experience a whole new atmosphere. It seems that she enjoys, from the previews, hanging out with Micah and Micah's friends that live at the house with him. And I think that's what she needs, like she says, because it'll open her eyes to see there are other people out there. And though she is feeling this way right now, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be forever. Though she feels like Max was her soulmate, I get that. I get that completely. But with time and healing, she will get to that point where she realizes she maybe needs to move on. Or you never know. You never know what will happen in life. Like, you never know. I mean, me and my boyfriend have dated 4 times, 3 different times where we've broken up, and it's been in the course of 12 years. And now we've been 6 years steady. And I never thought in my wildest dreams that I would get back to him after that third time. But there was always something that I missed about him. And I always felt like we had a connection that I didn't have with anybody else. So I get where Mariah's coming from. But you never know what will happen in a couple years. You never know if Max will, be able to communicate with her and Mariah be able to have that conversation after healing. So it'll be interesting to see. And I hope that there are more seasons of Welcome to Plathville so we can see how Mariah grows from the situation, how she feels about everything. I kind of do hope that Mariah and Max get back together. I understand he kissed another girl. It's different though than sleeping with another girl. And I feel like in a relationship, you compromise sometimes, but you grow from it. When you're able to speak to that other person, let the other person know exactly how you were feeling, and they understand and they get it, it can be different. And you can grow from that experience and move on. And I can see generally, like, Max is very upset and he is genuine with his feelings. He's very upset that he hurt Mariah, and I just hope for the best with them. I do. Though I have been, checking out Instagram and checking out, what's been going on. I don't see Max in any of her photos. I have checked out Max's Instagram. I don't see her in any of his photos. And I just hope that at a later date, they can at least talk about what happened, where they're both more stable per se, that they can talk about it. Because I know Mariah is very devastated right now. I can't wait, though, to see this whole conversation with Ethan and Olivia and why Ethan feels like he wants to leave Tampa and go back to Cairo. I feel like their relationship has grown tremendously since this move to Tampa, so I don't understand that whole situation. But we will see. Let me know what you think below in the comments. How did you feel about Little World, Big People this week? And how you felt about Plathville's episode? How do you feel about seeing Max and crying about the whole situation, and how you feel? Do you think Max is being genuine with his feelings? Do you think there's more to this situation? Do you think there's something that Max isn't saying? And we'll go from there. I would love to know what you guys think. I will be doing this live so that way we can all discuss this. I'm thinking next week I'll do one more video, and then starting on episode 4, we can kind of do a recap of 1, 2, and 3, where we can discuss that together, and then discuss episode 4 and what happens from there. So let me know what you guys think. If you would really enjoy a live where we can all discuss that, you guys can come on panel, and what time would work best for you, so I can take that into consideration when I do this live. I hope you all have a wonderful day. I am headed to my neurologist to go, talk about my epilepsy and see about what he feels. So that'll be an interesting conversation. And I have a couple other things I want to talk about because I am like 35 years old now, and we want to start a family, me and my boyfriend. So I want to know more information about, me having epilepsy and how that will impact me getting pregnant, if the medicine that I'm currently on is something that I can still take while I'm pregnant, and go from there. I'm excited. And I can't wait to just see what my doctor thinks. So we'll go, and me and Jake will talk about it with him and discuss everything. And this is the first time Jake's actually going with me to the neurologist, so it'll be interesting for him to just tell my doctor everything that he's seen from my seizures and things like that. Because when I'm having a seizure, I necessarily don't know, one, that I'm even going into having a seizure, or how I look, how I'm acting after I get out, before I snap back to reality. That's what I call it. So it'll be interesting. And I figured I would share a little bit of my life with you guys, since we they share their life with us. And I do like, going live and talking with you all. So I hope to talk to you all very soon, and I am planning on still doing game night, which is Friday. We'll see about Saturday. We'll probably do both. And I am planning a live next week where we can kick back and chat and discuss what's been happening. And I have been working on 2 sets of nails. I have my April Your Nail Lab box that I didn't do last month because I took 2.5 weeks off. And you know what? I needed time to myself. I needed time to heal, time to understand what I was feeling. And I'm in a lot better place. I am so much happier in life. I'm glad that I took those 2.5 weeks off. I grew in my relationship with my boyfriend even more than we already were. And we came to a better place of understanding. And I cannot wait to show you guys these 2 sets of nails that I made for you. So it's going to be the April Your Nail Lab box and May's Your Nail Lab box, as well as Ipsy. I still have April and I still have May, so I will be doing another either video or live showing you guys what I got for Ipsy. Ipsy this month was the Glam Bag X, so it's a special box, and I can't wait to show you all the amazing products that I got in there. So if you guys like makeup and nail, I'll be doing that. If you like the reality TV show, let me know below if there's any other shows that you like, because I do watch a lot of TV. I know I do want to start doing the Real Housewives of Dubai in June when that starts. I do watch all the other Real Housewives. So let me know what shows you guys watch and what you're interested in. And we'll do some more of these kind of like videos and discussions and things like that. But I can't wait to bring you all this content. And I love doing this. So we will just grow as a channel together, because without you guys, I would not be here. So thank you for supporting me and my channel. And I'm growing very rapidly, and I'm so happy to be where I am. And it's because of you guys. So thank you. Thank you for supporting me and my journey. So I will talk to you all later. You all have a wonderful day. Bye, everyone.